We'll chant Om 3 times, followed by the invocation shlokas. Please close your eyes. Inhale deeply. ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Good evening, all. Welcome back. We are covering Upadesha Sara. As part of that, we will chant the Mangalacharanam verse in praise of Bhagavan Raman Maharshi Ji. I have pasted the shloka in the chat window. Please refer to the chat window in case if you don't have it. And also, one of you please go ahead and unmute yourself to repeat the Mangalacharanam shloka after me. अन्तर्यश्च बहिर्विधूततिमिरम्
अन्तर्यश्च बहिर्विधुर्तिमिरम्
ज्योतिर्मयं शाश्वतम्
ज्योतिर्मयं शाश्वतम्
स्थानं प्राप्य विराजते विनमताम्
स्थानं प्राप्य विराजते विनम्ताम्
अज्ञानमुन्मूलयन्
अज्ञानम् उन्मूलयन्
पश्यन् विश्वमपीदमुल्लसति यो
पश्यन् विश्वमपीदु उल्लसति यो
विश्वस्य पारे परः
विश्वस्य पारे परः
तस्मै श्रीरमणाय लोकगुरवे
तस्मै श्रीरमणाय लोकगुरुवे
शोकस्य हन्त्रे नमः.
शोकस्य हन्त्रे नमः.
Yeah. So now, as we have seen, this text is the teaching of Lord Shiva to those people, those sages who are righteous people, but they are stuck in karma marga. And this translation or this Upadesha Saram, as they are, these shlokas are written by Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi Ji, maybe about 100 years ago, about 100 years ago, maybe like a little more or less. Now, so that means that there must be some relevance of whatever Bhagavan Shiva told those rishis to our modern day and time. Otherwise, Ramana Maharshi Ji wouldn't have put in this format. What it is, how does the very first shloka starts? Karturajnaya prapyate phalam karma kim param karma tajjadam kritimaho dadhau patana karanam phalama shashvatam gati nirodhakam nichaya kruta chitta shodhakam. Yeah, Nechaya, sorry, Ishwararpitam, Nechaya Krutam, Chitta Shodhakam Mukti Sadhakam. So this is what he said in terms of karma. Now, what does it mean? Is that all of us, we all have a little bit of ego. Ego means, I'm not talking about, not necessarily about the ego in secular terms, but from a Vedantic term, we all have ego, definitely, yes. But also from a secular perspective, also, as in like transaction world perspective, also, we also have a little bit of ego. For example, some guest comes to our home and we prepare what is our famous dish. Okay. So whatever with whatever dish we are popularly known for, they prepare such a good great dish, it's to die for. Okay, so like that, like we all have some kind of a what do you call, we all have some kind of a ego associated with whatever we do. And then what happens when people come, we feed them and say, how is it? Even before they start, we'll be asking, how is it? Does it taste good? Does it taste well? In fact, sometimes we are, when we are offering it to them, we say, try this. This is very good. They are the judges of how they liked it or not. But no, no, we don't give them option. We say, I have done this specially. This is very good. It tastes very well. You should try it. That's how we say. So in all of this, what happened is that there is a ego in us. Now that ego, whether it is this example or whenever we perform an action at work and we tell people about how we did very well, etc. This ego is becomes solid. Okay. So what happened is that whenever we perform karma, good karma, right karma, even though we have done a great thing, unfortunately there's a effect of ego solidification. That ego solidification is what? And what is this ego solidification? This ahankara. This ahankara is standing between my true nature and my understanding of who I am. Now, ego solidification, that wall is becoming thicker and thicker, wider and wider. So, we cannot really see our true nature with this when this ego is solidified. So, Bhagwan is, first of all, like bursting that notion, right? Okay, so he is saying, Kartu agneya prapyate phalam, means this. Your karma phala is, you're getting it. Why? Not because of you did something, but it is by Bhagwan's grace alone, you are getting the result. Now, that one, when he said, right, Kartura, and then in reality, he also said that God alone is the real doer. Okay, this is from a Vyavaharika perspective, by the way. Okay, from absolute Paramarthika perspective, Brahman is not the doer nor the enjoyer. Okay, neither Karta nor Bhokta. But from the Ishvara perspective, yes, okay, he is the Karta Bhokta, because in the absence of his presence, nothing can be done. So when nothing can be done without his presence, no result also can come without his grace. And when does what result come is completely up to him. So now, phalam word is used in the shloka, right? In the first shloka, karturagniya prapyathe phalam karma kim param karma tajjadam. So far, what we saw is karma as action. But I also told you earlier that karma also refers to result. So, karma kim param also means how can results be supreme? Okay. Karma tajjadam means karma phalam is tajjadam, means results are also not supreme and they are inert. So what is in saying that if the results are not supreme, that means because we are performing actions for what? For sukha. So if their karma is not param and it is ashashvatam, then what happens? The sukham or the results of that action is also ashashvatam, impermanent. When the results are impermanent, then what happens? Our dependency of our happiness is on sukham. Okay, sukham is dependent on the result, phalam, right? So if the phalam is ashashvatam, our sukham is also ashashvatam. So as a result, what happened is the sukham is gone. I mean, simplest example, a simple example is I am hungry, so I eat food. Did my hunger uh, is relieved? Yes, of course. How long? Until it is next meal time. For some people, until, like for people like me, not even until next meal time, until my next snack time. Okay. By then, like, okay, I want my next, where is next, where is next? Sometimes people do talk about at homes while they're eating lunch. I mean, in my home, in some cases. Okay. I don't know if you may not do this, but while we are eating lunch, we'll be thinking about, okay, what should we have for dinner? Okay. Why? That means that we know that whatever we are eating is not going to last permanently. So we had to plan for dinner already. Okay. So this sukham is ashashvatam. Okay. Karma phalam is ashashvatam. Now, not only that, it is gati nirodhakam, he said, right? Why gati nirodhakam means? Because every time I had performed karma, I had an experience of a temporary sukha. Because I have an experience of a temporary sukham, what there is a vasana created for that. Okay, this is good. I must do it. Now that vasana is again binding us. Not necessarily, it is not necessarily about good things and happy things. It's also true for negative things. Okay. If I say, when is the last best meal you ate? You need to scratch your head. And before that, what did you eat? Again, you have to scratch your head. Oh, I don't recall. Okay, so maybe that one at that restaurant, or this one at this restaurant, like that. Like, like all happy things, we don't remember much. Do you know what we remember most is the things that we hate, the people that we hate, the experiences that we hated. So we talk about 35 years ago, so and so thing happened at so and so's home, and how they have hurt us, that we remember very thoroughly. So what happened is the dukkha vasanas are more strongly binding than the sukha vasanas. Okay, so that's why now both sukha vasanas are also gati nirodhakam, meaning they're stopping our growth. And even if you get palitam, that also like a good result, even that it is creating a bondage. Bondage means a vasana is being created. So Bhagavan Raman message saying, so you change the style of your karma. Now, when he's asking to change the style of karma, which karma are we talking about? Okay, so we say that we have four different types of karmas. Okay, first one is niyata karma, mean our duties. This can be daily duties, which is nitya karma, or occasional duties, which is uh, naimittika karma. Okay, so put both of them are duties that we must perform. Then duties means I have to take care of my family, I have to take care of my work. Okay, so all of these are my duties. Sometimes my friend is in trouble, so I need to take care of him. That is also a duty. Sometimes it is like, the country is at war, so I have to fight for the country. That is also a duty. So all of these are duties, one category, but that we must perform. Second is what I love to do. This what I love to do is what something that I enjoy and I'm expecting a good result from that. Okay. So I love to go to dash fast food restaurant, right? Someone may write McDonald's, someone may write Subway, someone may write Pizza Hut, whatever, right? So then what happened is in those, that is something that I love. Also, you can also replace love with hate too. especially if teenagers are young children, they use the word hate so often that I don't know what they really hate because it appears that they hate everything. So, so, so what are these are all kamya karma. Yeah. So what the things that I want to avoid because I dislike, or the things that I want to do because I like them, they're called kamya karma. Then this nishiddha karma means the third category, nishiddha karma means something that is prohibited. Then the fourth one is actually is called as prayaschitta karma. Prayaschitta karma means I had done something wrong, and this prayaschitta, meaning prayaha means afterwards, chitta means the mind, meaning here what it is implying is that afterwards there is a regret about what I did and I want to correct the action. So that is prayaschitta. So all of these four types of actions are there. When we are talking about karma yoga, this prayaschitta is there is a desire to purify myself or get rid of something. So there's an inbuilt desire is there. Now, Kamya karma and Nishiddha karma, both of them are rooted in selfish desires. If I like something and I do it according to dharma, okay, in the rightful manner to get that result, then it becomes Kamya karma, desire-based action. But if I break the law, break the ethics and morals to get the same desired rules, same desired result, then it is Nishiddha karma means prohibited action. So now the only act karma that we can perform is Niyata karma. Now in Niyata karma also, sometimes we discussed this in the past, it can be done with a selfish attitude. Okay, so that means that I'm doing my job, right? So it is my duty to perform my job, but my goal is on the paycheck that comes at whatever frequency. In US, sometimes we get every 2 weeks, sometimes we get every 15 days, meaning sometimes every alternate Friday, sometimes 15th and 30th. So sometimes my focus is on those dates at which time those paychecks are deposited into my bank account. So even this Niyata Karma, also sometimes I do it based on my selfish desire. So this selfish desire, so what Bhagavan is saying is drop off all of these three. Kama karma, Nishiddha karma. And if you don't have any Kama karma and Nishiddha karma, meaning like desire-based action and inappropriate actions, if you don't do this, there is no need for actions that require correction, like prayaschitta karma is not needed. So just focus on this. Now, in this, what did Bhagavan say? Ishwararpitam. So Ishwararpitam means what? When we are performing this, our attitude should change from me to Bhagwan. So I am not doing this for myself, but I am doing for a bigger purpose, a higher purpose. This should be the thought. So this thought adjustment is what is needed. So now, because see, the thing is that typically karma yoga, people translate into don't expect result, just do it. And the thing is that even a fool doesn't work if there is no result. Now, so far, whatever I'm doing is for my sake. Now the focal point of action of all my actions should be Bhagwan. So now I'm saying, no, I'm not doing this for my sake, but let Bhagwan be experiencer. Let Bhagwan be Bhokta. As soon as we make that kind of a decision, everything changes. Suppose if as a newlywed, what does a couple do? They They go on honeymoon, they go here, everywhere, party, if not party, restaurants and movies. At least movies and restaurants were the big deal things when we were growing up. Now maybe it is slightly different. But so everything is rotating around them. 1 year later, 2 years later, what happens? A happy couple, happily married, so they have a baby. Now, when a baby is born, everything in that house is changed now. Are they going to movies? Are they going to the restaurants? No. If I go to movie, who is taking care of the baby? That's a question that need to be answered. If I go to restaurant, who is going to take care of the baby? Are they capable of taking baby well? Would they take the baby well? Okay, would they take care of the baby well? So all of this, what happened is that the attention has shifted from me to the baby. So, so this kind of attention shifting must be there from me to Bhagwan. That is Ishwara Arpitam Karma. Even see, whenever the attention shifts from me to something else, there is happiness. When the attention is on me, there is no happiness. Because you're talking about their couples, right? I mean, like young married couple. Think about that. Okay. In the beginning of marriage days, okay, in early marriage days, who is the focal point? You or your spouse, especially in honeymoon period. It is your spouse. So, Guruji, Swami Tejamanandaji, tells a good one-liner. A car has come, it stopped. Okay, a car is parked, right, like in front of a restaurant or a event or whatever, and the guy immediately got down from the seat, from his driver's seat, walked around quickly, opened the door for the wife. Why did he do that? He says there are only two reasons. Either the car is new or the wife is new. Okay. So now, in the early days of marriage, because our focus is on our partner, or because the focus is on honey, then it is called as honeymoon period. Okay. Now, you know, moon on Purnami day, on Purnima day, it is full. But as 15 days later, what happens? It reduces, 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 and it is invisible. Similarly, in our relationship, gradually that focus on our honey also is diminishing, diminishing, diminishing. Then what happened? Happiness is lost. Then fights will start. Right? So this is the problem with Jiva Arpita Karma, meaning we are offering our the results of our action, or even like the purpose of our action. When we put it on ourselves, this is what happens. Whenever we put, whenever we dedicate our actions, even as simple as our spouse or our child, the results are good. Now, if we offer all our actions to Bhagwan, then results are far better. Okay? Because what happened is that, see, the thing is that the action itself, remember, remember the action itself hasn't changed. But what is the attitude behind the action that has changed? So that's why, in fact, when Bhagwan Krishna starts teaching Karma Yoga in Bhagavad Gita, he doesn't call it as Karma Yoga. He calls it as Buddhi Yoga because it is shifting of the way we are thinking. And no, remember, say, like if you're doing a puja, if you want to do puja, what do you use? Flowers. Okay, you go to a garden, pull a small flower, and we offer it to Bhagwan. Now, the thing is that I need to understand that flower was there in first place because of Bhagwan only. And even though I may call that, okay, this is my land or whatever, this land belonged to so many other people since the earth was formed. Okay. And somehow I think that it is my land, okay, or my property. But so, and this flower has grown, and I'm saying that it is my flower. Who does it belong to? It belongs to Lord alone. And somehow the action of me going to that thing and offering it to Lord, I think that it is, I have done. Okay, I have performed. I have given it to Bhagwan. Okay, but Bhagwan says that is fine. Okay, in Bhagavan says in chapter 7 that, is chapter 7 or chapter 9? Okay, so he says that whether you give a small drop of water, a single flower, phalam, patram, a single leaf, okay? Phalam, patram, pushpam, toyam. Okay, so phalam, patram, pushpam. Yeah, flower, leaf, or a fruit. Yeah, okay. So that's what I was skipping. Fruit or water. Okay, I don't care. What, because the thing that everything is his. What I care is the your mind. Okay, with what heart you are giving it. That's what I care about. Right. So, for example, whenever whenever our children were young, for Mother's Day, you know, typically you would get a hint what is expected for Mother's Day. So then what you do, you prepare something, go, and then the child would, I mean, like you buy and the child would give it to mom. And but Father's Day though, what happens is that, especially when children were young, and we didn't celebrate too much of Mother's Day, Father's Day when our kids were young, simply because it's a new thing for our culture, because it wasn't there in Indian culture and we just moved to US. What would I get for the Father's Day gift was a picture, okay, a hand-drawn picture of a tie on a paper. Dad, here is the tie. I made this for you. Now the question is that, do you have in mind? Wait a minute. Mother's Day, so much hangama was done, all of that. For Father's Day, I get this. Do you think like that? Or do you think that, oh, you're so pretty. Thank you so much, beta. That's what you say. It's usually the second. So why do we say that? Because there's a love in the child when he did it. Okay. That tie is not real tie. I cannot really wear it. But what I do, as a father, you take it and probably put it in your office cubicle somewhere. Okay. And my son did this. So if you, I mean, like nowadays, with after, especially like after COVID, not many people are working in offices, but return to work is starting. But if you walk through the cubicles in your office, what you see, pretty much every other parent has a little bit of a souvenir from their children. From a real materialistic perspective, they are all worthless, useless, but there's a love attached to it. So when our child has done that, okay, with love, we keep it and we proudly display. And every time we are stressed, we look at that souvenir and think that, oh, I'm doing this for this child's sake. And then we get regenerated. Okay? Now, if we are doing everything for Bhagwan, how much regeneration comes? Okay, if I understand that this is the thing that I have, I'm performing for Bhagwan. So when we are doing this, what happens is that this Ishwararpana Buddhi is there. Along with this Ishwararpana, there is a surrenderness. When that surrenderness comes, that Prasada Buddhi. Prasada means what? Prasannata Bhava. Prasannata means a cheerful attitude. Well, whatever comes, I don't care. Okay, I am happy. So what happened is, because I am performing action in when am I performing action, past or future or present? I can perform action only in present moment. Now, if I love something, okay, if I'm hankering for a result, so what is my expectation? I am doing this karma for karma phala. Yes, for the result. So I will be happy when I get result. So what am I now? I haven't gotten the result. Okay, I'll be happy when I get the result. So what am I now? I'm not happy right now. Karma phala only comes in future, and karma is what we do in present. So at any moment we are unhappy. Okay, I mean this kind of like a convoluted, convoluted logic, but okay. So because when we are looking for future, there is a hope for future. What happened is that we are not paying attention to what we are doing. Okay, like we are not paying attention. We are not. We are taking the vartamana, the current moment, as for granted, and we are not enjoying this. But if you say that I'm doing for Bhagwan, I don't care about the result. Right now, right here, there is a happiness. Why? Because I'm doing it for Bhagwan. Result, oh, okay, well, whatever it comes, it comes. I don't care. So this attitude should be there. So in this case, what happened is that bhakti, okay, see, there is a surrenderness to God. Because surrenderness to God is there, bhakti is central aspect of karma yoga. Again, towards the end of last session, we were talking about the karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga. They're all not different. Okay, they're all bhakti is underlying factor for all paths. Okay, bhakti means what? Devotion. What does devotion means? Love. What's the difference between love and devotion? Love is for something that I know for concretely. Okay, so that means I know my child. I love my child. Okay? So I see my son every day or every week or every month, whenever, right? I see my son. I know he exists and I do things for him and I love him. So that is love. Devotion has one more aspect to it. I cannot, unless through knowledge, I cannot experience the presence of the Lord all around me. Okay. So because I don't, but the scripture says God is in everywhere. God is in everything. So I have faith in scriptures. I have faith in the Guru who taught about the presence of Lord everywhere. So this faith is called as Shraddha. So that Shraddha plus love together is called as Bhakti. Okay, so have that kind of a thing in mind. So with this, what happened is that Karma Yoga portion is complete. Okay, Bhagwan started with Karma Yoga and he finished Karma Yoga in 3 shlokas. Now we said Bhakti is a central portion for Karma Yoga. That means that I should love. Okay. What is the procedure for Bhakti? How should I start? Where should I begin? Where should I end? Bhagwan has to tell that one. So now we are shifting the gears from Karma Yoga to Bhakti Yoga. Okay. Any questions or thoughts before we move to Bhakti Yoga? So then we'll chant the.
Venkatji,
Yeah, go
one
ahead.
quick question here. Karma yoga is you're performing the action,
Mhm.
but when you do the karma yoga, isn't that bhakti equally involved, or wait, do we not think of what we are doing
Mhm.
in that sense that bhakti is equally involved?
Yes, bhakti is involved, but what happened is that think again, as I mentioned in the last, like one of the earlier sessions, or maybe in a different class. The thing is that bhakti, jnana, karma yogas, these are not different paths to God. They are like 3 different lanes on the same highway from your beginning point to your destination. Okay. So in so you're saying like left lane, middle lane, center lane. Okay, 3 lanes are there. In 3 lanes, what is the commonality? All of them are the road. Okay. So whether it's left lane or right lane, they all are made up of same asphalt and same road. Okay. So there's a commonality. Okay. So that commonality, underlying commonality is bhakti. Now what happens is that when you're driving, say if, like you need to go from Boston to New York, will you always be in left lane or always in center lane or always in right lane? You will be here, there, sometimes, sometime here, sometime here. You keep shifting. So, in the same way, our attitude would be shifting throughout the day. So, while I'm performing Karma Yoga, while there's a bhakti in me, but I also do something specifically for my sadhana. What do I do first thing in the morning, like when I wake up? Okay, or many of you, when you wake up, what you do after shower, depending upon your time, the amount of time you have, you go to puja room or the place where there is puja done, or where the photo of Bhagwan is. You stand there for a minute or 10 seconds or whatever, or sit there and do a 16-step puja every day. So what you do is changes from person to person depending upon the time, etc. Right? So now, in fact, there is a I mean, like, there is an anecdote where Narada goes uh, to Vishnu Bhagwan and says, "Who is the greatest bhakta?" Obviously, Narada spends time chanting Narayana, Narayana all the time. So, what's his expectation? Bhagwan is going to say, Narada, you are my bhakta. I always hear your name in your mouth. That is his expectation. But Bhagwan pointed to a farmer, right? I mean, they, as soon as they point, there's a TV screen that appears right in front of them, and it points to what is happening on Bhuloka, right? In this world. So he points to a farmer who woke up at 5 a.m., brushed his teeth, nothing. Okay, like maybe he had alcohol the night before, so it was like a little bit of smell and everything is there. He just brushed his teeth. He probably took shower the night before, so he did not even take shower that morning. He dressed up very quickly, took his the whatever instruments that he needs to use in the farm, and he started running to the farm. As he was running to the farm, there was a small roadside temple. In villages, I mean, sometimes there are temples, roadside temples are there. So he looked at that one and like he put both his hands together to Bhagwan like this for 5 seconds, and then he turned and he rushed. And he never thought about Bhagwan before or after. Now Bhagwan showed Narada, this person said, he is my true devotee. Wait a minute. When they can look into his mind also, right? He has no thought about it at all. Okay. And but Bhagavan says, no, 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 no. It is not how long, but how much love is there. Despite all of the daily work, he he allocated 5 seconds for me for in the whole day. That is fine by me. Okay. But anyway, like that story goes on more in detail. But there is a bhakti aspect built in, the devotion aspect, specifically how do we express our love for God. Okay. One is through all actions that we perform in Karma Yoga with Ishwararpana Buddhi and Prasada Buddhi. But how do we show it to God? Okay, that is what we are studying now. Okay. So the fourth shloka, Kaya Vang Manaha. So this has got 3 words in them. Kaya, walk, Manaha. Kaya, walk, Manaha. Together become Kaya Vang Manaha. Karyam Uttamam. 2 words. Karyam and Uttamam. Pujanam, Japaschintanam. Japaschintanam again has got 3 words. Japaha. Sorry, 2 words. Japaha and Chintanam. Together becomes Japaschintanam. Kramat. Okay, so these are the words in the shloka. So then now, go ahead. Okay, no questions. Okay, so we will chant the shloka. So I'll chant the shloka. One of you please repeat after me. कायवाङ्मनः कार्यमुत्तमम्
कायवाङ्मनः कार्यमुत्तमम्
पूजनं जपश्चिन्तनं क्रमात्
पूजनं जपश्चिन्तनं क्रमात्
Kaya, Vak, Manaha. Kaya means the physical body. Vak means speech. Manaha means mind. Now, these are the three instruments by which the action is performed. How? Now, if you think about any action that you performed, how does that action materialize? The action is materialized first in mind as a thought. I want to go to a movie, but I want to go watch a movie. That's the first thought. Now, if you have people around you, what are you going to tell them? I'm going to this movie, and you go to that movie. So, first, it's what a thought has arisen. That thought has given an expression through speech. The same thought is called as walk, right? So now that is, you spoke about it, and then you actually did it. With what? With body. So, three instruments are there. Sometimes you may think something and you do it without saying it. That's fine. So in that case, walk was what you call like you jumped over it. Okay. Um, so kaya, but these three are what are these? These are instruments. These instruments are in Sanskritam are called karana. Okay. Karana is instrument. Now, because these are three instruments, these are called trikarana. Trikarana. Now, did you hear the term Trikarana Shuddhi? Trikarana Shuddhi means whatever you're thinking, you say it aloud, and whatever you said, you will do it. So, this mind, speech, and body are in sync. That is when Trikarana is there. So, because they are, when they three are in sync, this is called as Trikarana Shuddhi. Trikarana Shuddhi means whatever thought comes, I am going to tell, and whatever I say, I do. Now, the question is that what kind of thoughts come? What kind of thoughts come is dependent upon what my vasanas are. So, now, just because I have a bad vasana and I got a bad thought, now I'm going to say like, okay, I'm going to do this bad thing. I'm going doing that. Is that called Trikarana Shuddhi? No. Those are the thoughts that we need to sublimate and get rid of. That will how to do that. That is going to be in third section, next section. Okay, so in terms of uh, dhyanam. Okay, so when dhyanam comes, that aspect is covered. So right now we are looking at this trikarana, kaya, vak, manaha. Now this any action is performed through this kaya, vak, manaha. Now, so when we say kaya, physical body, is this actually done by physical body? Any action that I perform is through what like
mind.
okay at a physical level is done through karmendriyas. Karmendriyas meaning organs of action. We perform this action. Okay, and now we talked about that when indriyas. We talk about indriyas. Okay, there is a Golaka for Indriyas. Do you remember that term before? Golaka and Indriyas. What is the difference between Golaka and Indriyas? The faculty of speech, for example, is a Indriya. How is the speech expressed? at physical level is through a golaka, meaning a instrument. What is that instrument through which the speech is expressed? That is tongue. So tongue is the golaka for walk, okay, speech. What is the faculty of seeing? For that, what is the instrument? Physical eyes. Like that for every. Uh, so now karmendriyas. So when we say that kaya, it is actually referring to karmendriyas. Okay. So kaya, vak, mana, I can perform certain tasks. Okay. So what tasks are better? Okay. So through kaya, vak, mana, you can perform three actions. That those three actions because now the topic is bhakti, right? So we are talking about bhakti related actions. You can perform three actions. Kaya, with the physical body, you can perform puja. With vak, with the organ of speech, you perform japa. With manas, you can perform chintanam. Okay. Kaya vang manaha. Okay. Pujanam, japa, chintanam. Now in this, there is a order which I mean, performing with body, is that what is important? Is performing with speech, is that important? Performing with mind, is that important? Oh, there is an order. Kramat. Okay. Kramat means this order. What is order? Uttama kramat. Karyam uttamam is there, right? Uttama kramat. So there's a sequence of good, better, best. Now, okay. Now, what is the thing that you perform? What is the thing that what are the things that are best? When we are referring to puja, what is the mapping for puja? With what aspect? He said, Bhagwan said that we are performing puja between kaya, vak, and manaha.
Kaya.
Kaya. Kaya means physical body. So we are performing puja with physical body. Hey, wait a minute. When I perform puja, is there no speech involved? What speech is involved? Is there no mind? Okay, am I doing puja mindlessly? Of course, no, 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 no. Your mind is also involved. What about japa? Is that not? Is that just only speech is involved or what? Body is not involved because if you look at this, if I'm chanting Om Namo Narayana, Om Namo Narayana, my body is also involved, right? I'm sitting at some place, etc., and doing this. Okay. Oh yes. Mind is japa. Okay, body is also involved. Yes, mind is also involved. Yes, yes, yes. Chintana. Oh, in the same way. Yeah, body is also involved. Maybe speech is not involved, but body is also involved and mind is also involved. But when we have said pujanam, japa, and chintanam, and corresponding to kaya, vak, manaha, when we did this mapping, for puja, the special role, the primary role is kaya. Okay? Kaya meaning body. When you are performing japa, the important role is given to our speech. And when we are doing chintanam, mind gets priority. Okay? So among this, puja is good, japa is better, chintana is best. It is like you go to a restaurant, server gives you a big menu, and you ask, what dish does he recommend? What would be his answer? Everything on our menu is good. That's his first disclaimer. Okay. But then he will say, among these, the popular dishes are these three. I personally like this particular dish. Okay. This is how he says. I mean, like, do you have experience, right? I mean, like, you have this such experience when you go to a new restaurant. I mean, new restaurant, mean a restaurant that you have never been to, and ask the server's opinion. So, in the same way, here, Bhagwan, Ramana Maharshi ji, is showing a menu of 3 items. Okay. And he's saying everything on this menu is good. So, puja, japa, chintana. So, but among these, puja is good, japa is better, chintana is best. Okay, that's what he is saying. So, now, what happens in each of these things? When I'm performing puja, okay, if I need to perform puja, what do I do? The form of the Lord takes a prominent focus, right? I have a pratika. Pratika means a representation of God in front of me. Either that could be a photo, a picture, or a murti, idol, right? So the statue, etc. So some kind of a representation of Lord is there in front of me, right? Whether Shivji or Shivalinga, whether it's Vishnumurti or Saligrama, whichever way, there's a representation or a form of the Lord is in me, and that is the primary focus. Okay. And when I do this puja, what happens? I go pluck flowers, or buy flowers, whatever, right? And then I decorate the puja mandap. I clean this puja area, and I prepare some prasada, naivedyam, and when we offer it to Bhagwan, whatever you cooked or whatever you brought and you offer it to Bhagwan, it is called as naivedya, because that is you had nivedana. You offered it to Bhagwan. And then after the blessing by Bhagwan, that naivedya turns into prasada. So that is Bhagwan has given you back. What do you mean by that? Okay, so what exactly happened? When I offered this, it is from my side. And then as part of puja, what did I do? Om pranaya swaha, om yanaya swaha, om. Like that, right? We did all of that. So then what happened? And through that process, we asked Bhagwan to eat our naivedyam. Now, when this eating is concerned, right? Remember that the food, again, you study this in 14th or 16th chapter of Gita. I don't recall now. Okay. So what happens is the food is made up of what? Is made up of Prakriti. So in Prakriti, there's Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. In the same way, in Prakriti, there is subtlest form, Sukshma. Okay. Then there is somewhat gross, and then absolute gross. Okay. And gross means like not dirty. Okay. It is like level of visibility. So the food also has got Sukshma quality. That Sukshma quality is taken by Bhagwan, and then he blesses it. But he didn't take all the Sukshma quality. Okay. Because when you eat food, the Sukshma portion of the food becomes our thoughts. Because thoughts are also matter. Okay. So, in fact, so Bhagavan Lord Krishna says that whatever you eat it impacts your thoughts. That's what he says. So, the Sukshma portion is, and that goes to our mind. Little bit grosser, what happens? That is digested by our body. Hmm. Do you see this hand? Okay. This hand is, I don't know, maybe about 4 inch wide or 3 inch wide or 4 inch wide and 6 inch long or like that. Now, when I was born, this hand probably was only this much. So then what about the rest of the hand? How did it became this hand became this much hand? It is everything that is the modification of food since I was born. Okay? The milk from my mother to so many buffalo milk, cow milk. Usually in India, buffalo milk was more popular than cow milk. Okay? Not just milk, but many vegetables, many fruits, many sabzis, okay, candy, chocolates, ice cream, everything that I ate, all of that, the result of all of that is this hand, right? So that now, can I pluck in any portion and say, okay, so is this an ice cream or milk or sugar or what is this? Can I say? No, I cannot. Okay, because that has become the body. So this is the second portion, okay, second level of food. Now, whatever I ate from my childhood till now, if I actually like weigh, right, it would be in tons, right? It will be in tons. Now, in that, but however, my weight is not in tons. Okay. So what happened to everything else? All of that has gone through our digestive system. It is pushed out. So that is grosser. So the food we saw, there are three levels of food, right? Extremely subtle and somewhat subtle and like completely gross. Completely gross has gone away. The middle portion got digested, and the top portion has gone into our subtle body, like in terms of thinking, etc. All of that. So that aspect of the food is what is offered to Bhagwan. Now imagine like Bhagwan took a bite and purified it and he gave us back. That is the prasada. When that prasada is there, when you eat that, what happened? That prasada is touched. That Naivedyam that I offer to Bhagwan, that is touched by Bhagwan. Because it is touched by the presence of Bhagwan and I am consuming it, Bhagwan is pure Sattva Guna. So that Sattva Guna aspect comes into me. Because that Sattva Guna aspect comes into me, what happened? When I eat a prasada, especially from a temple, right? Prasadam from a temple, it is done by volunteers, right? They are not professional cooks. But that is way better than a restaurant food for which we pay a lot of money. Why? Because when they prepared this food, their thoughts, right? Their state of mind is what? I am preparing for this Bhagwan. So they have a sattvic mind that was there, and that presence of that sattvic mind went into that cooking, into the preparation of that dish. And on top of that, that is offered to Bhagwan, and Bhagwan has blessed it. So because of that, extra sattva is there, and because of that, when you eat that food, you feel so pleasant and so happy, and you feel a, a strange kind of fulfillment when you eat that. Okay, it could be simple curd rice. Okay, we say, like many times people like say, oh, in that temple, that prasadam is so good. I went there and the prasadam is so good, like that, right? Whereas, what happens in a restaurant, a lowly paid immigrant who is living under tough conditions, okay, underpaid, with lot of difficulties, and all of those thoughts about how to live the rest of the life or how to live tomorrow, how to cross over tomorrow, that stress, with that stress is preparing the food and that stress goes into that food, and that combination of rajas and tamas enters into our body, and then we enjoy the food, but those Rajasika, Tamasika Lakshanas are going to be in us. So that's why that is the challenge with eating food outside in a restaurant. Anyway, like I kind of like that. I digressed a little bit too far. But my point is that prasada, how did it start? Okay. When we offer the food to Bhagwan, it is Naivedya, and after it is blessed by Bhagwan, it is prasada. So now we are also preparing Naivedya. So when we are doing puja, what happened? We are preparing Naivedya, we are plucking flowers, we are cleaning the room, and all of that is done. So all of that, what happened? Hands were involved. Okay. Of course, once you sit in front of puja, Bhagwan, you are doing the prayer, right? Okay. When you're doing the prayer, speech is involved, and then you close your eyes and meditate upon the nature of God. So mind is also involved. So all of that is happening in puja, right? This is the starting point for a seeker. This is the first form. Now I took all my time, so we will pause here and we'll cover japa and chintana thoroughly in our next session. So so are there any questions based on what you heard so far? Sorry, Gopal, you looks like you. Okay, so you gave the text for the shloka from chapter 9, which is Patram Phalam Pushpantoyam. Okay, thank you. Okay, so if there are no questions, we'll conclude here. पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ओम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम्